Well, lucky you guys. You guys get me 2 weeks in a row. I'll tell you what, I don't know if that's, luck or just a threat on my part. So, but, hey, guys, thanks for joining tonight. Greatly appreciate it. So, um, yeah, so, I mean, 2 for me, 2 weeks in a row is pretty damn good. So, considering I can barely remember what I did, an hour ago. So, me doing this 2 weeks in a row is pretty, good. So, I think for 2026, that's gonna be something I'm gonna try to focus on. I consider doing them like every other week just to, just from the standpoint of like at least keeping it kind of fresh and not just every single week or whatever. So, but I don't know. We'll see whether or not I keep it um at every week or every other week or something going forward. But really want to kind of dive into these things. And really what I'd like to do for 2026 is maybe have more people on and get a little more dialogue going, distillers, just industry type things, stuff that's going to be kind of interesting rather than just doing, blinds and things like that and just kind of going through the motions. So that becomes a little bit monotonous for me at times. So keeping it a little bit fresh and interesting, that's going to be something I'm going to try to focus on a little bit more for 2026. But on another note, hopefully everybody had a great Christmas, a happy New Year to everybody. We're in a new year, and I got to thinking, what better time than to kind of tackle a little bit of, maybe the good, the bad, and ugly of 2025, and maybe how we see 2026 kind of unfolding. Whether there'll be some predictions or not on my part, I guess we'll see. But it's been a very interesting time, I'll say, the past couple years with the whiskey industry. And I'll tell you what, you guys make it, pretty tremendous. But the other part of the side that we're all on, you know, it's clearly very difficult. So we'll kind of tackle some of those things here in a little bit. But let me say hi to a few people that were in here right away. Top Dog, as always, coming in number one in the comments. So cheers, buddy. Glad to see you in here. Hopefully, you and Renee are doing great. Love the Christmas card, by the way. Appreciate that. Ballbuster number two, Mr. Travis Robeson. Good to see you, brother, as always. Oh yeah, and if you guys can do me a favor, this is for my wife. I told her I would do it. So the little QR code, if you see it, if you want to scan it, vote for my little guy, little new puppy that we got, Bucky. We entered him into a little kind of dog contest. So maybe it'll go a long way. Everybody, you can vote once a day, I think, until the 15th. So if you don't mind, either clicking the link in the that I got pinned or scan the little QR code, she'll appreciate it. So we're trying to get that guy to pay his own way. He's not a cheap little guy, that's for sure. So as Travis said before, we got another mouth to feed in the old Page household. So if you don't mind, just doesn't matter when, but I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. What else we got? Mr. Roger Reese, my partner in crime. Good to see you, buddy. I think you're sipping on some of the pin hooks. So I've mine are downstairs. Maybe I'll grab them later. After this, about maybe 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. Jason and I will be doing a Patreon only live. We'll be updating everybody, giving everybody update as to what's going on. We got this guy, our little Jimmy Red that we've got that came in. We'll kind of go over some of that stuff as well. So there it is. You got the old pin hook. So Mr. Tom Morrow, good to see you, buddy. Says, oh yeah, he's talking to Travis. I think I saw something before you were stuck in Michigan still. I know you gotta get that house so you can get to KY and get after it a little bit. So Brady the Great, good to see you, Brady, as always. BBQ Ed, good to see you, Ed. Thanks for jumping in tonight, brother. I appreciate that as always. Mr. Erickson, good to he's Randall the Expressor. I love it. There you go. He's got the wrestling handle there going for you. Good to see you, Randall, as always. Roy R. Walks, good to see you, Roy. Good to see you as always, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well. There's Ballbuster number one, Mr. JG, as always. So what else we got here? I'll try to catch up here in a second. Mr. Allman, good to see you as always, too. What do we got here? Kelsey, my man, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for jumping in here tonight. Yes, definitely respect the elders. Come on. There's my man, Top Jimmy. Good to see you, Toby. Appreciate you jumping in here as always. What else we got here? There's Eric, connoisseur cigar. Good to see you, buddy. Uh, Happy New Year to you as well. Thanks for jumping in here as always. And there's Eric as well, smoking fire water. Thanks for jumping in as well. Um, what else we got here? Good evening to you as well. Hey, maybe sponsorship, maybe sponsorship. Gee, maybe sponsorship. I gotta move this thing along a little bit. We're gonna be out here forever. So there's Eric. Good to see you, buddy. Matt, what's up, brother? Good to see you as all. I'm gonna reach out to you. I got a proposal for you as well. So I'll reach out to you. In addition to, I know Jason and I were going to talk about trying to get down there pretty soon as well. I got to take a look at what I've got going on, and we'll try to get down there, maybe spend a day or two going through some things and picking some barrels and doing all that stuff. So we're looking forward to it. So, Mr. Girth Brooks, good to see you, buddy. Yes, rocking the Silver Grove. If you haven't checked it out, shameless plug. Just dropped a little while ago my top five rye whiskeys of the year. Uh, I'll preface that by saying I didn't have all of them. One of them I missed out on was the Driftless Glen, and I got it so late that I didn't have a chance to really kind of get into it or do a review of it. Their 10-year cast strength that they did, it probably would have been in here. I enjoyed it that much, but I didn't have time, so I left it out this year. One of the things I regret a little bit. So there's the better half of the franchises. Good to see you, Marine, as always. What else we got here? Let's see. Yeah, looking forward to kind of getting into the little bit of a topic tonight. Yeah, if there's anything you want to talk about or mention, drop it in the comments and we'll get after it a little bit. So, what else we got here? I'm almost caught up. So, there's Mark. Good to see you, Mark. Hopefully you and Kim are doing really well. I know I reached out to you guys the other day, so glad to hear things are kind of starting to settle in a little bit. So, yeah, exactly. The old magic 8 ball of 2026 at this point might be the safest way to assume. So we'll get into some of that stuff in a little bit as well. So, um, okay. Top Jimmy is saying hi to literally everybody. So there's the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Richie Z. Good to see you, buddy. Peter B, good to see you as well. What else we got? All right, I think we're all caught up. So, Mr. William Wiley, good to see you, buddy. What's Roger blending here? Blinding. So I'm blinding last year's 9-year with the 10-year pinhook received today. Probably not fair. They're two, I'll tell you what, it'll be interesting, but I won't say anything. I'm looking forward to hearing what you think of that. They were pretty different in my opinion, but we'll see. So but they were both delicious in their own right. So unless you were talking about both of the new ones this year. I don't know if you're talking about last year's or not. I'm assuming maybe the ones from this year, but I could be wrong. So yes, thank you very much. Hit that like button. Goes a long way. So appreciate that. Um what else we got here? Stacy, good to see ya. Four Leaf Whiskey. If anybody wants to know anything about Irish whiskey, she is the lady to follow and videos and all that good stuff. So great lady right there. All right, I think we're almost caught up. Mr. Henry Turner, what's up, buddy? What else we got here? Mary, good to see you as well. So yeah, happy 2026 to you as well. So I think we are all caught up. So let's you got it, Marty. Let's hock and roll. That's the theme for tonight. Hock and roll. So hock, drop, and roll. All right. So the other franchise in here. Good to see you, Gary. What else we got? Nope, 9 year from nine. Okay, from last year. Yeah, that's gonna be I won't I don't want to influence you. So John, good to see you. Mr. Perkins, good to see you as well. A lot of good stuff in here as well. So, all right, thanks everybody for jumping in. So, I was kind of going through some statistics and just kind of checking things out a little bit. And one of the, I guess, kind of interesting things with 2025 was basically they were talking about us as consumers really focusing on or seeing from the purchasing standpoint the quantity or excuse me quality over quantity, and that doesn't surprise me. The only thing that made me think of the quality over quantity was the fact that oftentimes nowadays that still comes with a premium price. So you guys can let me know, is that something, I guess, for you in 2025 that you focused more on, I guess I'll say, the quality, maybe something a little bit more expensive versus the quantity, out maybe outside of mixers and things like that. But was that maybe a priority for you in 2025? I guess I never really focused on it. Nothing's really, for the most part, I'll say, changed for me in terms of like doing all of this, because you're still buying bottles and doing all of that. So my approach is different than what a lot of your approach may be. If you're not having to review things or kind of search for stuff from that standpoint, that changes it a little bit. We'll hunt for stuff that you just have to have in order to either do a review or something along those lines. But for you as the consumer, where did your kind of focus, lie? I'll be interested to hear that from you guys as well. um Yeah, and that'll actually be part of the bad side we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, that's an interesting perspective, and you can kind of shed some light on that as well, regarding kind of the bad side of that. I had, kind of was focusing on, the bourbon side of things, but really I was really thinking whiskeys overall. Now that will be interesting to see kind of where some of that stuff all falls. So, all right. So Travis was focusing on. So he says I did, and more so this year will be the goal. Nothing less than 990. Jeez, I figured I was going to try to take you serious there for a second. So, but maybe a little bit of the quality over quantity. So, but that's interesting because it's I mean, quality nowadays, I guess I'll say quality, that's kind of a very subjective, because a lot of, there's a lot of great bourbons out there that don't necessarily have to break the bank. But I think their statistic was looking at maybe some of the older whiskeys that had a higher price point that were maybe starting to enter the market a little bit more this year. And seeing the statistics of people buying more expensive whiskey, but less expensive whiskey, as is the only thing I can think of. So, all right, Kelsey says I focused all my attention to single barrels, stop chasing to even review. So it is. I get that, and you fall into a little bit of that trap, and I guess I'll have to admit it. I did a little bit of that this year, more so pumping the brakes this year or in 25 than I did 2024. Probably bought more stuff in 24 than I did 25. But that's a good point. I guess the more I kind of think about it, it is one of those situations probably. So Matt says, already have so many bottles and can only consume so much. It is an issue. There's no doubt about that. And that's probably a big case for a lot of us. So you focus more on, I guess, the things exactly that you want. The higher priorities of things become one of those things. So, all right, Tom says for me last year was certainly quality over quantity. Yeah, that seems to be kind of, well, it's where the statistic was driven. It was a high percentage. I mean, it was like 67 or 68% of the people had focused on quality over quantity. So, All right, Travis, what do you got? So Travis is already looking at 10 bottles to get this year and all our group picks. No shelfers. All right, and fair enough. I think a lot of us are a little bit in that kind of minority when it comes to that. So, um, all right, Nick says less shelfers for sure, unless it's making cocktails. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, and I think this becomes a really kind of valid and important thing. So, in all seriousness, it's got to be about what my friends, our trusted palates pick. Pinhook and Copper and Cask are perfect examples, and fair enough. And I think a lot of us have fallen, kind of into that trap as well with things. So, they had also talked a little bit about product innovation. I think a lot of it had more to do with this year seemingly having more finishing casks, or in 2025 it seemed to be where there were as many finishing casks than there had ever been before. I don't know if I had noticed that, I guess off just in general, but again, statistically they had where 2025 was the highest year noted of finishing cask. I don't know if you guys noticed that 25 was a higher year of more finished whiskey than it would have been prior, even the prior 2 or 3 years. So for me, I'll say I didn't really notice that much, but I don't know if it was because I just wasn't focusing on it or just never really registered for me from that standpoint. Yep. Yeah, so I mean, it definitely seems like you guys have fallen into the quality over quantity type of thing, and I think a lot of us become, in kind of in that camp as well. So we're not so eager to just go out and find you know any random shelf whiskey that's out there without knowing a little bit more about it. And again, I think this is where we're also a little bit in the minority. We're in that small percentage that that may skew these percentages a little bit, because outside of us or the common person you may see, walking the aisles at a Total Wine or just, in the liquor store, they may not be, I don't want to say on the same level, but they may not be looking at it even close to how we look at whiskey and what it is we want, or bourbons, rye, Irish whiskey, whatever it may be. That can be a very, you know, again, like we're that minority. So we kind of look at all of this stuff with rose colored glasses, a little bit. So, um, all right, Brad. So the Count Hockula JD pick is like the Heritage Barrel, right? All right, glad to hear you're enjoying it, because it is fantastic. I mean, it is a very fudgy whiskey, and yeah, that was an easy pick along with the rye that we did in 25 at JD. So, Mr. Joey Brown in the house. Good to see you, buddy. All right, so Tom says this is a good point too. So we'll kind of get into some of the this stuff as well. So, one of my late purchases was a Taconic barrel strength that hit the mark. So I'll be looking at more craft distilleries that now have more age, yeah, than they did had 3 to 5 years ago. So definitely that. I think the ones, and I think I had talked about this on a stream not that long ago about how the craft distilleries that have made it through, I guess I'll say until now, have really started to kind of show, or them have a great example of how good some of the whiskeys really can be, outside of Kentucky and Indiana, things along those lines. So the ones that have made it and stuck through and have continued to age their stuff along the way, I always use Driftless because they're here in my state, but what Driftless Glen did, and now them releasing 10-year bourbon and rye, and them about ready to maybe even make that a bigger skew. That's pretty impressive on their part, and it just kind of goes to show like how much they've stuck at it and continued to kind of drive that thing a little bit. So it's really really great whiskey, and glad to see a smaller brand like that doing some really big things. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. There were a lot of bottles that were like Kelsey said, that used to, be snatched up immediately. That are now just sitting on shelves that are waiting for people to pick them up. So, um, wait, I focus on trying to get bottles that I don't have to worry about shipping on. Yeah, it is. I mean, that's always a thing. I mean, now you just have to expect to 20-25 bucks is what the cost of doing business is with some of these things. I understand it's not cheap and it's not insignificant. It does, increase, all of that. Sometimes, you get a little better deal if you're kind of doing more volume, but again, you're still spending, more money. So, but um so Mary Beth says, things have slowed down some in California as well. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I think the ECBP, like I was thinking about this the other day, like why, I guess why continue to have that a 3 time a year release? Why not either do it once, or maybe twice? I don't know your thoughts on that as well. So, um yeah. Yeah, Booker's when that was hard to find. Now I mean there's some that I've got like that are close to here that are, I mean, they're years old and they're just sitting on the shelves. Nobody's even hardly touching these things. So, all right. So, all right. So, I guess one of the other things was that I was reading was, with 2025 being, I know this is in bourbon, but whiskey related, American single malt finally became an official category in 2025. I think Murphy Quint and his team at Cedar Ridge had a probably a big hand in all of that. So that was interesting. Whether or not that'll ever really take off. I mean, it feels like in my opinion about as big as it's going to be now. I don't know. I guess you guys can let me know. I mean, I feel like the ASM part of things has kind of reached its pinnacle at this point. It feels like, um, I don't know. I don't know where else it can go. I don't know what else would be thrust into the market that would really change the perspective of there being this big influx of not only product but buyers, consumers that would want it. I think it's still good, and there's some brands again like Cedar Ridge that and Murphy and everybody that are there, that what they do, I mean, it's some of the best that's out there. Will it ever like rival or even come close to bourbon and maybe even, rye whiskey? I don't know what the statistic would be in terms of consumers buying American single malt versus rye, what that number would be. But that'd be an interesting one to see. But yeah, Kelsey, the ECBP, I don't know. I feel like it's at this point with all of the great whiskeys that are out there. I don't know if they need to force that as much as they used to. Like maybe just release one a year. Maybe make that more premium and let people focus on a single release of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof versus three. Because by the time you get the one, it feels like I just reviewed the C batch not that long ago. Now we're going to be getting into here in January the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, A126. So I mean it's just seems to be a little bit maybe too much enforced, but as much as I say that, I look forward to each batch or release, I should say, just to see exactly what it is that's going to happen, and if anything is really either going to change. I think the biggest thing that everybody watches and looks for is going to be um the age part of it. Everybody wants to harp on that. I get it, because of the former 12-year age statement, that anytime it's not that, I think people want to kind of go after it a little bit. But um oh, is Mr. Todd Ritter in the house? There's Mr. Todd Ritter. Let's talk here soon about the podcast. Now things are kind of getting a little bit back to normal for me. I'd be happy to get on with you if you'll still have me. Um, yep, there's an agreement from Jeff. Yeah, 2 every 6 months, good. I think 1 would be, you know, I think okay as well. I think it would make it just a little bit more premium and people wanting to kind of go after it a little bit. So, all right. So Roger says, let's see, let's go back to this. So pricing on a lot of the American single malts are usually lower than other items on the shelf. The finishings are creative, and if you like single malts, you'll probably continue to buy them like me. Fair enough. I wonder what that statistic will be. And again, I enjoy some of them. Selfishly, it's probably a lot of the Cedar Ridge stuff that I probably have a major liking to, just because of who they are and the whiskey that Murphy produces. So, all right. So here was a big one too. So they had talked about the new or newer accessibility of smaller bottle releases, meaning 375, 500 mLs, 700 versus everything being in 750s. Let me know your thoughts on, do you kind of like what it is that, off the top of my head, it feels like Bardstown Bourbon Company has really gotten into releasing a lot of that distillery only stuff in the 375s to kind of spread the wealth, share it out a little bit. Let me know. I know a lot of people like the idea of a 750 just because of it being more. But are you either a fan of the smaller releases or smaller bottles in terms of volume versus just everything being a 750? So 1 or 2 bottles a week. Fair enough. Fair enough. I know sometimes it can be tough. It can be tough. But Richie, are you focusing more on, with it being 1 or 2 bottles a week, are you being a little more selective in terms of, quality over quantity? So, all right, Mr. Wiley, what do you got? So now you're going to get William LaRue Weller for like 800 bucks instead of 1600 because of the size. Okay. Outside of that, I'll say this, even with the secondary market, there's a lot of that stuff that's drying up too. But excluding anything that's like that, from a production standpoint, if you're getting a 375 of still another really good whiskey, are you okay with it? Or would you just rather see them, step on the gas and just continue to kind of throw the 750s at us, for every release? So, Jeff says it would be great to see more 375s of the releases that are in short supply. For example, a Mash and Journey short barrel pick. That's something, and oftentimes that's a very good question. And I wonder if, to your point, Jeff, if that will be something that becomes maybe something to really kind of either look into or push some of the distilleries on getting some of these 375s. Because if we did have, or just even smaller releases, but if you're going to single out like the whiskey club, yes, having a 375 and say, hey, okay, here's the option, rather than there being 50 bottles, now you get 100 bottles. So, maybe that's something I'll write it down, and just also even maybe make it as a suggestion, and see if there will be any distilleries that are willing or able to even to do that. All right. Most of the time it had to do with our bottling line and like no labels and all of that. And if they don't do any of that, they never have any of it. That's the tough part. You almost have to find somebody who has that already in a lineup to do. So Kelsey says would like smaller batch releases, but I am not sure what it'll catch on due to pricing, if that'll catch on due to pricing. Fair enough. Girth, I'm not a fan of the 375s. The 700 ml size is just irritating. I like the 750. I'm a okay. Full size man needs a full size bottle. Okay, I get it. I get it. That's an interesting point right there. Richie, in terms of what he's buying, totally selective, but buying stuff I like to pour, make her small bag. All right, cool. Okay, I see. So some of the more shelfer, readily available stuff. So Matt says, I think 375s is good for experimenting, i.e., Old Forester 117 series. Yeah, I mean, I think some of those are just I don't know. I guess I'm kind of okay with some of those special releases, being like that. Maybe they can mix it up a little bit. I don't know, but um, it's kind of an interesting, perspective. And I get all of that. So Andy says, I'm not a fan of the US whiskeys in 700s. That's just shrinkflation. Kind of agree with you on that. JD is already doing it with the bonded rye, et cetera. Yeah, fair enough. And that was one of the things where I know it's 50 mLs that they kind of cut out and maybe we don't see it, but yeah, it's a big deal. When you take all that extra stuff, that extra 50 ml that we're not seeing, and it just gets, translated into, kind of more profit on their part, without kind of them identifying or really saying much. It's kind of sneaking that stuff in there a little bit. So all right. So Toby says I don't care for 375. Give me a 750 all damn day. All right, fair enough. I get it as well. I mean, there is something about just having a full bottle. I get it. It's having these little, you know, you know, this is yeah, so a little small, what Bardstown released, this year. Is that focusing? I don't know. Is that the cathedral? No, it's the yeah, it's a cathedral. Um yeah, so I don't know, but yeah, I mean, you can see. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's like a little mini me type thing. I mean, I get it. Whatever, whether people want that or not, I don't know. So, man, I haven't even had one sip of anything. Guys, thanks for man, I've been blabbing already for 32 minutes and barely even gotten into anything. So, cheers, everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. Hopefully, everyone has a healthy 2026. So, cheers to all of you, and cheers to that. Yeah, I absolutely love the Silver Grove cast strength whiskey. Man, that stuff is so good. If you haven't again, if you haven't seen the my rye whiskey of the year video today, check it out. Appreciate it. Leave some feedback. Always love to hear from you guys. So um all right, franchise says we just picked up the new Bardstown. The new one in terms of was that the Was that the Calvados? Is that the one you're talking about, Gary? I don't know if that's the one you're may not have gotten it if it was a 750. I'm assuming the Calvados is what you were talking about, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Oh, let's see. So, all right. So Roger says the Pinhook tenure is phenomenal. I won my blind versus the 9 from last year. Wow. Interesting. All right. Good to hear a little different perspective. It's the thing, you get so used to doing these things, but I like hearing from you guys. So I'll probably also get back to doing some of the kind of virtual tastings a little bit with not only some or with the once we do the picks and stuff, we get a couple accumulated, maybe hop on a Zoom for a Thursday night and kind of taste through some of those things, because it seems like once we release them, then they kind of just get forgotten about. And I don't necessarily want to be for forgetting about those things. I want to taste through them with you guys. So, all right, Eric, what do you got? So the size thing is more for average consumer than the audience. The economic pressure consumers are feeling more means some of them looking for small single uses. A lot of people don't want bottles around. Yeah, I get that, and I think that's probably a big part of it. It probably helps people out with not only not spending $200 on something, but maybe them feeling okay for spending, $100 on something. And again, the vast majority of consumers are not us. So we're looking at it again very skewed. So yes, sir. It was a 375. So, they released all of them in I think really every one of their kinda distillery releases that they had this year was a 375. Um, I don't know I don't know if this was just the media sample or not, but did the oh, yeah, the Ferran, this must be just a sample one because they did have a full 750 of this one, already, which the Ferran from Bardstown this year incredible whiskey. If you guys haven't tried it, I think the Ferran this year blew away the first one, not even close. Way better in terms of overall just richness and how the whiskey really kind of developed. So was a huge fan of the that release this year. Let's see what else we got here. All right. So I think if we get into the obviously the bad and ugly, you kind of have to get into one of the more recent things that we just saw here at the end of 2025 was the shutdown of that plant for Jim Beam. I think I don't know what that will do in terms of production, like what that actually stopped regarding production, total volume of bottles that were kind of coming out of there. But that I think just goes to show. I think with all of the kind of uncertainties, still some tariffs and things like that being applied. The export of our bourbon to not only Canada but to like the Japanese market. All those numbers being significantly down or almost to zero in terms of the Canadian export. That's a big hit. So all of that comes with not only some distilleries closing, but that also impacts the employees. So job loss, which you never want to see, all of those kinds of things, so that's a big thing. So I mean, we all do, I guess I'll say our part, and then some. But overall, you know, that's been a thing. And here's another interesting thing that I was reading the other day, and it had to do a lot with the younger generation. I don't know, I'm going to say maybe 20s and 30s, whatever all of that would be, whatever generation that would be. That the decline in drinking has gone down significantly. So I don't know what that number was. I just saw that it had been reduced by, man, I wish I could remember what the number was, but it was a tremendous number. It was a big number about how little this younger generation was drinking. So I think that had probably a big impact on not only the brewing industry. That's what it was. It was both brewing and distilling industry, and they were pretty big numbers of that. So yeah, the 4 year. So the cool thing about it is with them having that Silver Grove, I'll say basically Rick House, and then them aging all of this stuff coming, I believe, from that upper floor within that particular Rick House. Man, whatever is going on there, it is tremendous. But yes, it is a 4 year product or a minimum of 4 years. I don't know if it's much older than that, but I'll tell you what, the stock that they've got, then that they continue to pump out both in 24 and 25 of their Silver Grove. It's pretty impressive. for I guess, me. I'm a huge fan of it. So, what else we got here? Um, all right, so you like the idea. I get it. I know it's kind of it's a tough thing to have to kind of swallow that. So same thing with the 700 mLs. I know that was one of those things where it kind of feels like a little bit of something a little tricky going on. So um oh, it's Marine. All right. Why did I say Gary? I don't know why when I saw that I don't know. Sorry, Marine. Sorry. I apologize. I definitely don't want to call you Gary, that's for sure. So I know. I thought, was Gary in here before? I thought I saw him in here. Maybe that's what when I saw that. I don't know, but sorry. That's what getting old does to you right there. All right, Wayne, what do you got? So I drove around Kentucky and Tennessee picking up three different Silver Spring bottle. Most expensive was 38.50. Got bottles from 23 to 25. Man, worth every penny. And you get those things for, was 23 their first year releasing the Silver Grove? I don't know if that's was that year or not, but I don't know. So all right, this is kind of an interesting perspective because Tom with Limestone Farm, he sees a different perspective than we do. But 2025 was the year bottle kill for. Oh yeah, so this isn't have anything to do with that. But this year it's all premium only and barrel pick. So I get it. And we kind of focus on a lot of those things. So interesting with that. So all right, so he's already coming in with a 26 prediction. So I predict that that people are still not going to buy those Woodford special releases at stupid prices. It will be take them another year to get rid of the 20. Yeah, probably so. So um yeah, it said on let's see this article I had, record low US whiskey production, federal data confirmed a sharp contraction in the US whiskey production through the year, a major indicator of the industry's economic challenges. So yeah, that was very non-surprising to see some of all that stuff. So I guess on a little more, I don't know, maybe a positive note, I guess the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof rye was released. I know mixed opinions on that. I mean, I liked it for what it was. It didn't blow me away or anything along those lines. I think it was good that they dipped their toe in the water and finally released one of those. We've all been waiting on it. Was it what we expected it would probably be with release number one? No, I was a little surprised that it didn't come out with a much higher proof just to really kind of launch the product. I don't know, maybe the right way. I mean, coming out with something that would have been a little bit richer, a little heavier texture wise would have been maybe a better plan from their side. But I don't know. So Big Vic coming in hot with a 4.99 super chat. Good to see you, brother. Uh, Klein was wearing his heels when he got his. I don't know. What does that say? License? I must have missed something. I apologize. I don't know what I saw. Kleiner wasn't in here, was he? Um, shit, wrong chat. Oh Jesus! I'll tell you, he's already drunk for crying out loud. Jesus, come on, Vic, get your shit together. Um, Chucky. Yeah, he's a big time in, man. He doesn't even know what chat he's in anymore. He just shows up at these things and just starts throwing money around and saying random things. But hey, Big Vic's always welcome no matter where it is. So, um, yeah, Matt says, feels like despite sales being down, age statement are still down I wonder, I don't know, like, does it feel like they're down to you? It feels like this was a year that we got, maybe it feels like more higher age statements than something, but I don't know. So, maybe a lot of it was the buff turkey stuff that really kinda started to show up, even with some of the, older Barton that had started to kinda show back up, as well, which I'm a fan of. I like the older Barton, profile, so I was cool with that and hope that they come back with some of that stuff. So, Mr. Top Jimmy coming in with a gifted of 5 My Bourbon Journey memberships. All right, you guys are in for a real treat there. So, thanks, brother. Appreciate that. Oh, man, choked me up there a little bit. Let me have a little, sip of some, agua. Let's see, yeah, this was a little bit different. The, pour your own, Elijah Craig, barrel proof rye was so much better. Yeah, that one that we did at the Blitz this year, that was, incredible. I think was that 131 or 133 proof? That would have been something that they probably should have really kind of considered entertaining with some of that stuff, but, what else did we have here? Yeah, I don't know, like, I think with the Elijah Craig barrel proof rye, I like the idea that they that they did it. Like, I think that was a good footnote. I is that also gonna be a 3 time a year? So let's see, they released that, boy, so they called that did they call that A or B? Either 1 or 525? What was it? What was the number on that? I don't have my bottle, by me, but let me know what was the letter and, numerical, number on that thing. I was just curious what that thing was registered. I know that was the first one, so I don't know if they were calling it A or not. I mean, unless it was, no, that thing wasn't released in January this last year, I don't believe. So Gold Silver says, got some Four Roses standard bourbon and some Elijah Craig single barrel, private barrel proof today. There you go. Boom. It's a good Tuesday for you right there. Yes, he is the man. What's up, Tommy? Good to see you, buddy. The old jerks are in the house. Well, only one old jerk, right? There's still a young jerk there somewhere floating around. More age statements in 2025, but no break in price. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see a break in price or not. But even though that's a good point, I mean, there's so much of it. There was more of it out there that you would think if we were going to get into that that time that um maybe you would start to see some prices come down. So yes, for sure, for sure. All right, everybody, help Gold Silver out. Give him some suggestions on what other types of things he can be looking for out there that aren't going to break the bank, that are solid pours. Outside of maybe some of the big boys, and give him some suggestions as to some things he can hunt down, because he says he was hoping to find some land, some Taylor or Eagle Rare today at the local spot. Um, but I'll take the Elijah Craig. And there's nothing wrong with the Elijah Craig. There's nothing wrong with any of those bourbons that you had mentioned. I think expanding your your palate will be to get away from some of those things. If you already have had those, you kind of know what they are. Maybe start to branch off into some different brands, and I'm sure there's people that are going to give you some suggestions on some things to try. Um, and that's the fun part of it. I would maybe focus less on the big brands and maybe start to do a little bit of research on some of the smaller brands, and then kind of go after some of those things and really start to, kind of expand the horizons a little bit with kind of venturing out and trying some different brands. I think you'll be absolutely blown away by what else is out there. So, yes, I've got it actually down here, and I'll probably do that maybe next weekend or something, John. Maybe I'll get into that thing next week. and we can definitely work on that one here for you soon. Yeah, maybe next week I'll do that. Thanks for reminding me. I don't know. I'm not even sure how you have pictures of me in biking shorts or not, but that's a bit concerning. I will say that. So I'm not sure if the membership's going to get you full on access like that, but clearly JC has got some different membership than most everybody else. So, but just a quick reminder. So we will probably be doing or we will be doing Jason and I will be doing a Patreon only live tonight, giving everybody some updates. Been a little while, go over some things, just say hi, do all that. So if you're a patron, we'll post that stuff in a little while and get after that, give you guys some updates and tune in on everything else that we've been up to and what we're working on, all kinds of good stuff. Some Bardstown Blitz 3 stuff that we've got for everybody. So it's going to be a fun night. So all right. So Wiley says so it was the A925. Okay, so that was September. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, so A925 that would be right. So Y725 Y7 was that really the number of the so Wiley says A925, Jason and John have Y725. I don't know. Am I missing something? I don't know if that's just a miss. I don't know if it's just a mistype or what, but definitely give the Bourbon Jerks a follow. That's for sure. They'll appreciate that as always. I can guarantee you I'm not going to be at Buffalo Trace Distillery at 4 a.m. or I would never have been there on December 26th at 4 a.m. in line for Blanton's. Not a chance in hell. So I probably wouldn't have been there at 4 p.m. if we're being honest. So Matt says, is this the year Wild Turkey quits raising prices? I don't know, Matt. It's like wishful thinking. I'm not sure if that's gonna be the case or not. So, all right. So we're let's see, we're 52 minutes into this thing. So let's talk a little bit about 2026 and maybe some of the things. Are we going to see any improvements? Where things are going to kind of go. I think for at least Q1 of 26, I think this is just going to be a little bit of that feeling out period of maybe just kind of testing the market, once again. I don't see much changing from where we've been the past either 3 or 6 months now. I think once we start to get into spring, maybe we'll start to see some slight improvements of things. Whether the market fully corrects or not, I don't think that's going to change until we see less volume of whiskey. What was the statistic I saw of the amount of barrels? Where was that? Did I have that written down? Here's what it was: an inventory glut. Despite production cuts, distilleries were sitting on a record level of aging inventory, over 16 million barrels in Kentucky alone as of January 25, leading to market oversupply concern and potential future price pressure in the mid-tier segment. So you can see 16 million barrels, not necessarily, a bunch of age stuff, but that 16 million barrels plus all the bottles and newer distilleries. So it's definitely a challenge. So the Udo experience. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Man, that was a ridiculous ride that we had at the Blitz. um oh man, I'm about to check out. Marty is out in the wild doing some liquor store hunting videos. I'm gonna have to check that thing out. He's gonna be like the yeah, like Rogers. He's gonna be the new Bruzel out there. I thought it was a Bruzel video. I'm about to check that out. Someone's gonna have to share that. Someone's gonna have to share that video. Man, come on, man. Blow Marty up. Who doesn't want to watch Marty walk around a liquor store, kind of describing all the things he's gonna be doing? Come on, man. I want to see that. That's gonna be a friggin' video to watch right there. Can't wait to check that out later. That's for sure. So anyway, so I guess you guys let me know what, how do you see 2026, kind of shaking out? I guess as we get into now the very beginning of the year, maybe some good predictions. I will say this. I think this is maybe going to be one of those years that we see a little bit more attention placed on, let's say, craft distilleries. Maybe some of the smaller ones now, with them having more, aged, bourbons, rye, whatever it may be. I think there might be a little bit more of a focus. I know there probably will be on my side, at least focusing on some different things to kind of buy throughout the year, or things to buy and suggest that other people may, kind of give that a try, to get away from some of the bigger brands that are out there. Not to, I mean, they're I don't want to say doing fine, but they're doing a lot better than what some of the craft distilleries are doing. And I think the not only maybe some of the bourbons and rye that these distilleries have, these smaller ones have, can be absolutely amazing. It's just a matter of finding them and getting all of that stuff. So it will be something I probably focus on a little bit more this year. So Nick says 2026, higher age and price. So you think there's going to be a little bit more expensive whiskey in 2026? So you think we've already bottomed out in terms of the sheer volume versus pricing part of things? So have we seen the super expensive whiskey at still premium prices, but you think maybe the ages are going to start to come up? I think we might see more aged whiskey. I don't know. I guess maybe this is more wishful thinking. I don't know if we'll see the associated price hike with some of those things. With the amount of whiskey that they have, I feel like they can afford to sell some of that stuff, knowing the economic impact that we've all kind of been going through. I don't know if they can continue to sell all of that stuff at a premium price like that or not, but I guess we'll see. So, but that's a good one. Knob Creek 12 cast strength will be interesting, um, on price and availability. That will be interesting to see what they do with the price on that, because what do we have? We had the 21, and that was what, 189 or something. I know that was only 100 proof, but now getting the Knob Creek 12 at cast strength, you know, which is crazy because we all wanted that stuff. But man, remember a few years ago, you were getting those 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old Knob Creek single barrels for, man, I'm gonna say like probably $50, but they may not even have been $50. And I've got a few downstairs, and man, I'm like reluctant to even open those things, but it was great, great, great whiskey. So, man, if someone's got the video, post the link in here for Marty's thing. I know I can't watch it right now, but anybody can go back later and click on the thing and watch that thing. So I want to watch Marty walk around a liquor store in Alabama and describe things. He's gonna be the new. I'm just gonna refer to him as Bruzel too now. Um, yeah, definitely excited for that release this year. So I'm gonna have to be hitting up somebody when the new 12 cast strength comes out to hook a brother up. So Swami Hock is predicting now. Get out your number two pencil and yeah, get out the old get your old notebook out, get your number two pencil. Jeez, going back right there. Oh man, it doesn't exist. Come on. Jeez. I think Roger got us all excited about Marty being in Alabama doing some bourbon hunting. Come on. Would definitely want for sure. Marty, get out there, do one even in North Carolina. We'll yes. So we get like a film crew, follow Marty around. Come on, let's work on this stuff. So, all right, Eric says 16 million barrels is only one for every 21 people in America. We'll be talking shortage again eventually. Yeah, probably so. I mean, I guess, and maybe it just has to do with like the glut that's out there right now of so much inventory and the ability for these distilleries, um, to produce and have the inventory sitting on shelves. So yeah, I guess it will be interesting. That's why I was even saying with a lot of when we release the buff turkey and those ages like that, that at some point we will see a time where those big ages are just not going to be around again. So even though they come with that premium price, there was still the fact that those are those kind of aged bourbons or rye, and you're just not going to get that stuff overnight. Obviously, it takes all of that time for it to age, and that's going to come at a price. Somebody had to either not only buy it but sit on it and pay the tax. So there's all of that in terms of what dictates the price for those aged whiskeys like that. So but yeah, 2026 for me, hopefully it's going to be a big year. We're looking forward to everything I know with the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club and trying to get more involvement, get people into this, get them more excited, get new people into this. And, I would say like, if you guys know of people and you want them to try different things, push them our way. It doesn't matter if it's me or Jason or whomever. Just getting people involved in the community and trying different things. That's going to be the fun thing. I think this year, for us, trying some of the some new distilleries, getting some new picks, kind of in the mix. I think getting down to, like Old Glory and all of that, just trying to maybe mix in a few new things. We've got the JW Kelly, the Silver Spring stuff coming before, too much longer. The Walleye Run, that stuff's coming. So maybe we'll try to get back to 13th Colony. You'll have to reach back out to them and see where we are with that stuff. But we'll see kind of where things are going with some of that stuff. Corvette Trey, what's up, my brother? Good to see you, buddy. Um, yeah, I think maybe we'll see this a little bit. I'm maybe on board with a little bit of this. We might see some higher age statements with not all of the big prices. So we'll see what happens with that. So what will be this year's PFG and Star Hill Farms? Very good question right there. So whiskeys that came out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Jason and I were just talking about the Star Hill Farm and kind of that release this year. As much as I guess you would expect some kind of weeder to come out of there. I don't, it just didn't feel like you were expecting to get something so different like that, from them. But yeah, and what will be this year's kind of PFG? I don't know, but what kind of finished one? I'd love to see it come from some craft distillery or something, just some amazing finished whiskey of some sort. So I don't know how that will go this year, but the the market will definitely let us know that. So there you go. There's a prediction that I'm going to predict will not come true this year. There probably will be no Ardbeg or Lafroig being purchased by me in 2026. That's for sure. So the shortage is coming, man. Eric is doing all of the numbers. He's giving everybody in the world whiskey at this point. So 8.2 billion people in the world. The shortage is coming. All right, we'll see. We'll see if that how that goes. So, cheers, Matt. Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you jumping in here. Um, oh boy, I don't know if I'm scared by that or what's going on with that one. Um, Star Hill Farm 2. Yeah, I wonder if there do we know if there will be a 2026 release of that? Do we have any confirmation of whether or not that will be a thing, and if so, when that will be? Just curious. I haven't heard anything about it, or I haven't seen any release on it, but I'm sure hoping they do it again. Yeah, that's a big thing. I know that Kentucky tax and just the liquor tax overall, how much people are taxed, these brands, it's a crazy, crazy number for that stuff. So yeah, maybe we'll see fewer allocations. That would be nice for them to maybe start spreading the wealth a little bit. And I think that has a lot to do with maybe the fact that, with the way the whiskey market is right now that they've got to move things around. They can't just go to, these, handful of places and this stuff just sits there. What the hell is the point of that? So I like that. I like the idea of maybe the marketing people or whomever it is behind the allocation part of it, getting that stuff, moved around a little bit more. I kind of like that one. Um, all right, good. So I didn't see that, and I probably should pay a little more attention to the TTB stuff, but or at least people who announce that stuff. But yeah, I didn't see it. So all right, thanks, Travis. Looking forward to that. It'll be interesting to see how that was. Ended up being my whiskey of the year this year was the Star Hill Farm. I loved it, loved everything about it. It just there was something about it, just everything about it worked for me. I know it wasn't bourbon, but man, just absolutely, absolutely incredible whiskey. So I think with all that being said, thanks guys. I appreciate everybody for all of the input and the chat and everything tonight. If you are a patron, we'll be doing a Patreon live in maybe about 20 minutes or so. I've just got to get a few more things set up on my part. Get the link over to Jason. We'll be live and we'll go over a few things as to what we've got coming up for this year. So if you're not part of the Master Journey Whiskey Club and you want, you can check that stuff out online. Anybody can, probably send you that way, one way or the other. But a lot of good things I think happening this year. Hopefully we'll try a few different things this year, try a couple new things, get to some different distilleries for sure, and just find more great whiskey. That's always the objective. Never taking any shortcuts when it comes to great whiskey. So whatever they put in front of us and all of that. So all right, do me one little quick favor. Here's the little guy that you're going to be voting for tonight. So if you can, the little QR code or the link that I've got. Oh, he's tired. He's pooped already for the night. So if you can vote for this little face, maybe it'll go a long way. We can buy him a few more to buy him a few more treats and maybe a new bed or something like that. But that's the little face you'll be voting for one of the little I don't know, some little puppy thing that my wife is doing. So well, like man, he cannot man, he's been sleeping all night apparently. So I appreciate it. So yeah, the little Bucky, if anybody hasn't seen him, this is the new addition to the old Page household. So get after some voting, get vote once a day for I think until January 15th. And anyway, on that note, on a puppy note, remember it's about the journey, not the destination. Cheers, guys. If you're in Patreon, we'll send you a link here shortly. Come on over, join us. We'll probably open it up at some point and have a little bit of fun. So, with that being said, we say good night. We'll see you guys here shortly. Have a good one. See you guys.